welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling a really interesting angle. It popped up from a YouTube video we looked at. And for this session, you're probably looking to get a quick, but, thorough understanding. We've got some perspectives that might be, well, pretty eye-opening.
Precisely. Yeah, our source material is some excerpts from a YouTube video. It's by Chantel Simone, titled "TikToker Exposed: Why Women Are Triggered by Red Pill Men."
Okay.
Now, yeah, the title suggests it's about reactions to red pill stuff, but our deep dive, it's really extracting this related argument.
Which is
the idea that DL, down low behavior, it's often linked with men. But the argument here is it might also show up in women who seem heterosexual but maybe experience attraction to other women.
Okay, right. So the video, it starts by looking at some frustrations the creator has with women who are maybe quick to accuse men of being DL or, acting certain ways.
Exactly.
But then it flips it. It suggests this kind of hidden behavior might not be just a one-way street.
Yes, exactly. The video proposes this kind of parallel thing happening, where women, allegedly, do things that hint at hidden attractions to other women.
Like what sort of things?
Well, the examples brought up include things like women who get drunk and then get really physically affectionate with other women, or maybe women who say they're just not interested in men publicly. The video kind of interprets that as potentially masking something else.
A preference for women?
Potentially, yeah. That's the suggestion.
The video also touches on how some people might read certain social dynamics between women, right? It talks about groups and trips.
That's right. Things where behaviors might be seen through this lens as confirming this idea of hidden attraction.
Okay.
And this leads into the video's idea of the triggered reaction.
Oh, okay.
The argument is basically that when men express certain opinions or maybe just observations, some women react really strongly, sometimes even accusing the men of being gay themselves.
Right. Okay. I see where this is going. The video suggests this reaction might be like a defense mechanism. It posits that some women show what the video calls a strong hatred towards men. And they label positive comments about men as, pick-me behavior. Inauthentic.
Yeah, or attention-seeking. And the video even brings in things like girls' trips, or what it calls ghetto behavior among some women.
How does that connect?
It's presented as maybe further potential indicators within this specific framework, right? This idea that these outward reactions, this negativity, might be a kind of deflection.
So projection, essentially. That's what the video is suggesting, attributing your own stuff to others.
Pretty much, yeah. That seems to be the core idea there.
And then there's the whole thing about appearance. Makeup, wigs.
Yes. The video asks, why do some women put on elaborate makeup and wigs, but then insist really strongly, oh, it's not for men?
Right.
The implication, and there's a clip the creator includes to support this, is that maybe that effort is actually directed towards attracting other women.
Okay. So it's building a case. The specific look, denying it's for men, plus the strong negative feelings towards men. It's presented as this cluster of signs.
Signs pointing towards, in the video's view, women being on the down low.
Yeah. It's definitely constructing a theory.
Yeah.
Based on observations and reactions. And to back this up, the video includes a personal story, an anecdote.
It does.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So the story involves someone calling the narrator really early, like 6 a.m., and then sending messages. Someone the narrator had kind of distanced themselves from.
Okay.
And the way it happened, the sort of disjointed communication, it triggered this internal thought for the narrator. The thought was basically, she's gay, bro, she's gay.
Just like that. What led to that conclusion? There were specific things, right? 3 strikes.
Yes, 3 observations that sort of solidified it for the narrator. First, this woman apparently talked a lot about other women liking her, but always added that she didn't like women back.
Okay, strike 1.
Second, the narrator felt there was excessive physical touch, like unwanted touching during conversations.
Strike 2, and the third?
The third was that the woman kept pushing the narrator to drink alcohol, really insistent, even when the narrator said no or was hesitant.
Got it. And the narrator then links this whole personal experience back to, online behavior.
Yeah, suggests this same person would probably be in, say, Kevin Samuel's comment section, accusing men of being gay.
So tying it right back to that projection idea, really hammering that point home.
Exactly. It really underscores that theme the video is building. And this story, it acts as a kind of springboard to talk about DL women in a broader sense, beyond just secrecy.
How so?
Well, the video argues that for women, being DL isn't always just about hiding. It can also be about survival, navigating social spaces that aren't accepting of, anything outside heteronormativity.
That's a really key distinction, isn't it? It's not just hiding attraction. It's potentially about real social consequences.
Right.
What kind of environments or groups does the video mention?
It gives a pretty wide range, actually, from specific social organizations, the Links, Jack and Jill, the Divine Nine, brunch circles.
Okay, established networks.
Yeah, and then also more everyday roles, like PTA moms, wives, CEOs, first ladies, even churchgoers.
Wow, so pretty much anywhere.
The idea is that in these circles, there can be huge pressure to conform, to fit the heterosexual mold. And stepping outside that, it could lead to judgment, maybe exclusion.
So the video's painting this picture of women in these roles potentially feeling trapped, having to hide their true self.
Yeah, maybe feeling this disconnect. Private feelings versus public persona. That phrase, loved in secret, judged in public, comes up.
Yeah.
And the video also mentions this sense of being dismissed by other women who might act one way in public, but differently behind closed doors.
Right, so this pressure for respectability, for acceptance, it forces silence.
That's the argument. And that silence, it has a cost. The video says it can cost you your soul, which is pretty heavy.
Definitely. It really makes you think about that tension between being authentic and meeting societal expectations. The video then tries to explore motivations a bit more. It talks about career women, right? The I don't need a man type.
Yeah, the theory floated there is that women who project this very strong independent image, the video calls it, being in their masculine energy, might also be on the down low.
How does that connect?
It's presented as maybe another angle on hidden attraction, perhaps linked to feeling you have to be self-reliant, especially professionally. It's another layer the video adds.
Okay, so pulling all these points together.
Yeah.
How does the video actually define a DL woman? What's the definition it's working with?
Well, according to the video's perspective, right, a DL woman is someone who feels attraction to other women emotionally, sexually, romantically. It could be any or all of those.
Okay.
But they live their life outwardly conforming to heterosexual norms. And the reason for that conformity is usually fear.
Fear of what?
Fear of judgment, rejection, maybe losing their social standing, their comfort zone, But the underlying attraction to women is still there, just often not acknowledged publicly.
Right. And the video suggests lesbians might be particularly attractive to women who identify this way as DL. What's the dynamic there?
It puts forward a few reasons. Lesbians are portrayed as having this certain confidence, this emotional freedom, maybe not seeking male validation in the same way.
Okay, so that could feel safe.
Exactly. A sense of emotional safety for someone hiding their own feelings. The video also talks about potential validation without shame, meaningful emotional connection, deeper conversations.
And physical chemistry.
And explosive sexual chemistry is mentioned too.
It sounds like a potentially very powerful connection they're describing. The video even mentions straight identifying women who might have these really intense experiences with another woman.
Yeah, like acknowledging, wow, no other woman made me feel this, but maybe still holding on to that straight identity publicly.
Which just highlights how complex attraction and identity can be, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's often not clear-cut. The video also suggests these connections between DL women and lesbians can be spaces for healing.
Healing from what?
Past stuff. Like maybe a strict religious upbringing or being judged for showing affection to other girls when younger. The idea is that lesbians might offer a space to talk about it, to process it.
Interesting.
The core idea presented is really that women who like women, they just love you differently, as the video puts it, with intention, maybe without judgment about your body, that kind of thing.
It's suggesting a level of understanding, maybe acceptance, that might be missing elsewhere for someone with these hidden feelings.
That seems to be the implication.
But then the video kind of throws a curveball at the end, doesn't it? It seems to slightly contradict some of that.
Yeah, it's a bit abrupt. It briefly references a stereotype about lesbians, questioning this idea of selflessness in bed. And then it circles right back to the beginning, raising that question again. Could it be that women who are quick to accuse men of being gay are actually, maybe, projecting their own unacknowledged attractions?
So it ends on that note of projection again.
Okay.
So we've really unpacked the main arguments from this specific YouTube video. This whole concept of women being on the DL, the reasons suggested, the social pressures, how they might perceive or react to men according to this source. And it's important, as always, to remember this is just one perspective from one particular source we examined.
Absolutely. This deep dive was all about exploring the viewpoint in that Chantel Simone video. Now, when you think about all the things discussed, fear of judgment, needing social acceptance, how complex attraction and identity are, it does push you to think more broadly.
Exactly. Considering all these complexities, these pressures,
Yeah.
what are the wider implications when attractions or identities stay hidden or unacknowledged? It doesn't really matter what the gender orientation is, does it?
No, it's a broader human question.
It really invites you, the listener, to think more about identity itself, about society's expectations, and that whole journey towards, hopefully, authentic self-expression. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.